Let me take a moment and talk about Riverside.fm. It allows you to record studio quality audio and up to 4K video. When you need to record audio and video, Riverside.fm can do it. So if you're looking for a hero platform for all your recording needs, from podcasts to webinars to any video content, Riverside.fm. I've got a promo code for you where you'll receive a 30% discount on the first 3 months of your subscription. I'll give it to you twice. The promo code is SHIPIT. All one word, SHIPIT, and you'll pick up a 30% discount on your first 3 months of your subscription. Riverside.fm.
In this special edition of the Best of the Pigskin Dispatch, in this episode of the Football History Headlines for December 7th, we discuss the NFL games on the day that Pearl Harbor was attacked, as well as many more Hall of Fame legendary stories. All these and more with the Hall of Fame birthdays coming up in just a moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com, and welcome to your football history headlines for December 7th. We are going to go right at it on telling you all the football history for the day, as we'll start in the year 1940 at Lansdowne Park in Ottawa, and playing for the Grey Cup was Ottawa defeating Toronto Balmy Beach 12-5. December 7th, 1941, at Chicago's Comiskey Park. The SportsHereandNow.com website tells us that the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Cardinals were playing for the regular season finale, and it was the day that FDR claimed a day that will live in infamy. The Cards entered the game with a dismal 3-6-1 record, while George Halas's Bears were flying high at 9-1. The Cardinals raced to an early lead by 2 touchdowns before the Bears closed the gap by half, being down 17-14 going into the locker room. The lead went back and forth early in the second half until Sid Luckman and the boys put the game away with some late unanswered scores to secure a Bears 34-24 victory. December 7th, 1941 at the Polo Grounds in New York. Meanwhile, in the Big Apple, the Brooklyn Dodgers football team dismantled the New York Giants 21-7. The PA announcer at the game, according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, announced that all military personnel must leave and report to their units in the midst of the fans enjoying the last game of the season to celebrate Tuffy Lehman's Day and honor their beloved Giants running back. December 7, 1941 at Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. The stadium management decided not to announce the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor to the crowd of nearly 27,000 at the Washington Redskins versus Philadelphia Eagles game, per the Boundary Stones website. The next morning, the Evening Star tried to make sense of the Redskins' decision to keep the news from their fans. Beneath the headline, it said, "It could only happen in Washington." In the game, though, it was a good one that could keep the fans distracted for a short time before they would get the serious news of the war. When the game was over, it also marked the close of the season, with Washington winning 20-14 on a Sammy Baugh 3-touchdown day. December 7th, 1949, the 15th Heisman Trophy went to Leon Hart, who played for Notre Dame as an end. According to Heisman.com, Hart is the largest player ever to win the award, as he was 6'5" tall and weighed in at 260 pounds. The bio on Leon goes on to say that Hart caught 19 passes for 257 yards and 5 touchdowns. He rushed 18 times for 73 yards in the year and blocked a top-ranked Notre Dame backfield that recovered 3 fumbles on defense to establish the case for his Heisman votes over second-place finisher Charlie Justice of North Carolina. December 7th, 1963. Instant replay was first used on TV at the collegiate level in the Army-Navy game of 1963. Wired.com covered the story and tells us that the big game was played before a nation still in mourning over the November 22nd assassination of President John F. Kennedy. So this date was chosen to be the time for the earlier postponed slot of the game. The CBS network decided it might be a good time to try out the fairly new innovation of instant replay. The drawback to the technology at the time is that it did not have slow motion aspect attached to it yet, nor could they zoom in on anything. The CBS production team used a 1,300-pound machine to wind back the reel and show a touchdown over again as commentator Lindsey Nelson warned viewers, "Ladies and gentlemen, Army did not score again." Oh, and as for the game, Heisman winner Roger Staubach led the midshipmen to a 21-15 victory over Army in front of 102,000 fans. As we take a quick break from the headlines, let me remind you that you can also learn more about gridiron history on our website, pigskindispatch.com. And you can contact me, Darren Hayes, at pigskindispatch@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Speaking of hearing from someone, here is one of my podcasting partners from the sportshistorynetwork.com that has a message for you.
This is Jeremy McFarland from the Footballist Family Podcast. And I'm going to encourage you, if you get a chance, to come over to the Footballist Family Podcast, where we look at what makes football special and family to each person. We talk about each team, and we talk about the stories behind why fans love those teams. We encourage you to come and join us in our discussion. Thank you.
December 7th, 1985, Bo Jackson, a running back from the Auburn Tigers, won the 51st Heisman Award trophy. Bo's bio on the awards website tells us that he was a two-time All-America selection and ran for 4,303 college career yards. Even while battling some injuries in the 1985 season, Jackson managed to pound out 1,786 yards on the ground for the Tigers and run in 17 touchdowns. After college, Bo was a professional two-sport star as he played in the MLB and in the NFL for the LA Raiders. Now it's time to go through some rapid-fire headlines of some great scores that we've got on onthisday.com. December 7, 1996, at the 5th SEC Championship game, it was the number 4 Florida Gators swimming past the number 11 Crimson Tide with a final score of 45-30. December 7, 1996, the first Big 12 championship game was held as Texas stunned number 3 Nebraska by scoring a 37-27 upset. December 7, 2013, the 22nd SEC Championship game saw an offensive explosion as the number 3 Tigers of Auburn got past number 5 Mizzou 59-42. As we alluded to earlier, we have a couple of Hall of Famers to talk about have birthdays on this December 7th, and we'll start off on December 7th, 1888, and Harvard's tackle Hamilton Fish III celebrated his birth. The NFF tells us that he was an All-American twice, and in 1923, Walter Camp named him to his All-American team. The National Football Foundation selected Hamilton Fish to be inducted into their College Football Hall of Fame in the year 1954. December 7, 1973, in Alexander City, Alabama, Terrell Owens, the strong wide receiver from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, was born per the Pro Football Hall of Fame's website. Standing at 6'4" tall and weighing in at 240 pounds of lean muscle, Terrell Owens was a force for defensive backs to reckon with when the 49ers drafted him in the 3rd round of the 1996 NFL Draft. For his career, he caught 1,078 passes for 15,934 yards, second only to Jerry Rice, and 153 touchdowns, good enough for 3rd overall time behind Rice and Moss. Besides the Niners, Terrell played for the Eagles, the Bills, Bengals, and Cowboys organizations too. He was an All-Pro 5 times and played in 6 Pro Bowl games. Terrell Owens was voted to go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2018's enshrinement class. We hope we rekindled some fond memories of the gridiron and maybe even gave you some new information on these December 7th headlines we discussed today. And we don't want you to miss tomorrow's football history headlines for December 8th, where we will talk about 8 different players who received the Heisman Trophy on December 8th, as well as some other great gridiron events. To make sure you get notified the second the next edition of this podcast is released, please put your mouse cursor over that subscribe button and click it. Or you can join us on pigskindispatch.com. Go to your favorite podcast provider, or go to the sportshistorynetwork.com, where you will find some other great nostalgic sports stories and interviews from some other very good, talented podcasters on our team. So make sure you check those out. I'm looking out at the defense, and I got backers crowding the line. I'm going to call an audible and get on out of here. Tune in tomorrow for more Pigskin Dispatch. If you want to contact us, we're at pigskindispatch@gmail.com, and we'll see you tomorrow, folks. We encourage you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, and hit us up on the email, pigskindispatch@gmail.com. See us on Twitter and Facebook, too, and subscribe to this podcast. We'd love to hear from you.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Just another ordinary day in the offices of the Pittsburgh Guardian newspaper circa 1924. But for Marla Delft, assistant editor, everything was about to change. For she was about to discover the awesome attractiveness of Row 1 brand retro sports paraphernalia items thanks to Orville Mulligan, sports writer.
And there it is.
Wow, Orville, that's really the bee's knees.
Isn't it just? A poster-sized replica of the actual 1909 World Series program cover.
I can see that. But where did you get it? And where'd you get it framed?
I ordered it from the Row 1 website, where over 6,000 items of sports memorabilia from the 1880s to the 1990s are available for reproduction, in multiple sizes and in several different materials, with over a dozen styles of frame to choose from for prints like this.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Delft would love to put up more of these in the office. But I'm equally as sure they're beyond this newspaper's budget.
Not at all, my dear Marla. See for yourself. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com/row1.
sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. Oh my, these are good prices. Oh, and look at this stuff. Oklahoma-Nebraska football, college basketball art, Michael Jordan items.
And so it was that Marla Delft discovered the splendiferous magic of Row 1 sports memorabilia, arts, and prints. You can too by visiting sportshistorynetwork.com/row1. That's ROW1 today for access to the full Row 1 catalog of gallery prints and gifts like t-shirts, long-sleeve shirts, telephone cases, coffee mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Act today for 15% discount off all prints with coupon code SHN15 and 20% off all other items with coupon code SHN20 at checkout. And keep your dial locked to the Sports History Network for the exciting chronicles of the 1920 sports world in Orville Mulligan, sports writer. Coming soon.
Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandom at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.